failed Instagram and now moving over to YouTube. Let me explain. Hi, I'm Beatrice. I'm a lawyer and a foodie and traveler. I'll also teach you how to get more value out of your life, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I've been on Instagram for about 4 years now, creating content around the food and travel space. And I have honestly enjoyed it so much, and I've connected with a lot of like-minded creators and a lot of foodies and travelers as well. I love it. I just feel that platform has stagnated a bit. I honestly feel a bit stuck on Instagram because I have been aiming at 10k forever when it comes to followers, and I will still be there. I will not leave the platform, but I will dedicate more of my time towards creating this YouTube channel and put my efforts where they potentially get more noticed, because I feel like everything gets lost on Instagram. It seems as if Instagram has categorized me as a local cafe account in Stockholm rather than a travel account. There's been this kind of mix between local content and travel content, which is also one of the reasons why I want to explore something new, because that becomes kind of problematic when it comes to growing, because you get recommended to the wrong people. I have a lot of local Stockholm people that are expecting to see Stockholm content, and then they get confused when I post travel content. There are a lot of people who enjoy traveling who get confused about me posting Stockholm content. So that kind of mix doesn't really work, and it has been quite hard for me to manage both the local content and the travel content, because naturally I do spend more time at home than traveling. I also want to evolve and shoot new content continuously, which means that a lot of Stockholm content will come naturally. When it comes to opportunities and brands and collaborations, since I am in Stockholm, those are the ones that come to me, and those are also the easiest options for me to work with. And I have wanted to portray Stockholm as a travel destination, which works to some extent, but it doesn't have the same appeal as Paris, Italy, Japan, and all those really popular destinations. So it has been kind of hard to sell it. I will try to incorporate more Stockholm content from a tourist's point of view and to appeal to tourists rather than locals, because I do want a global following. I do want people from all over the world to feel like they can connect with me and to enjoy my content and to get travel and food inspiration, not just locals from Stockholm, because then I would have spoken Swedish here as well, which would have been far easier for me too, because I want to have this mix of Stockholm and global content, and I want it to blend seamlessly together, which may not really be the case. So I've been trying to hone in more on travel content lately and to do less of the Stockholm content, because ultimately travel is where I want to be, and food of course. But that is also why I'm stepping into YouTube as well, because I want to try something new. I want to feel challenged again. I feel like it is very confusing over on Instagram what you're supposed to do. Post long reels, post short reels, do 5-second reels, do talking reels, do not do talking reels. Everyone keeps saying different things, and I want to do a mix of what I enjoy and what actually works, because I do want people to see my content, but I don't want to be a slave under the algorithm as well. But it doesn't make sense to put in a lot of effort when no one really sees it. So yeah, I'm a bit conflicted towards Instagram these days. I want to provide a lot more value, a lot more in-depth content, and YouTube has always been on the table for me. YouTube is the oldest platform pretty much. I think it came out in 2006. And I have pretty much always been a user. In 2021, I started uploading my Instagram reels as YouTube shorts as well. I repurposed them on TikTok too. TikTok is not really my thing, but I do like YouTube, and I really like this structure of YouTube, because I love that you can do playlists where you categorize your content. It is searchable. It is easy to find content that is many years old and still get value from it. I love that as a user when I try to find other people's travel tips and food recommendations. And I love that as a creator, because I want to be able to find people's content from several years ago, find their past trips, find their past foodie adventures, and I want people to be able to find my content from several years ago and not just find the last 5 posts that I've made. To me, the inability to search on Instagram is a big thing, and also the lack of bingeability. With the playlist function on YouTube, you can pretty much see all content from a certain category just straight after each other. There's no such thing on Instagram. Let's say that you have my Japan playlist, for instance. There you have around 30 reels with all my best tips, foodie finds, travel recommendations, all in one go. That would have taken ages to find on Instagram. Then I can link that back to my Instagram instead and have people look at the YouTube shorts instead of trying to find the Instagram reels, which I can't even find myself at this point. I find that other people who enjoy traveling and finding good food, they also want to search for things. And it also affects the user experience a lot, because if I'm actively looking for something, I come on a website and search for it, then I am a lot more engaged as a user than I am when I passively scroll through a feed, because I actually want to find this type of content. When you scroll through a random feed, you don't really care what comes up, you're just looking to be entertained. And there's a huge difference when it comes to this psychology of looking at content and finding creators for you and finding the right content and saving things, and honestly just the perceived value that you're getting from the creator. If they have what you're specifically looking for and things that will actually make a difference to your everyday life, it will create a much better relationship between you as a user and the creator. Why have I not started with this earlier? Because YouTube has always been on the table for me. The thing is that to me, the barrier to entry to start posting more seriously on Instagram was high enough. When you're coming from a lawyer career and you're trying to do something new which make you stand out a bit, it becomes kind of embarrassing when people start acknowledging your content. The vibe gets very strange sometimes. If you're a dedicated lawyer or a Big Four employee, you don't really have that many passions or interests outside of work. And if you do, you aren't really seen as a dedicated, because they can't really use you as much if you have a rich private life too. The best employee in the world is the employee who obviously is always ready to work overtime, more than happy to do it, doesn't have any outside hobbies, lives to work and help other people. And I didn't feel like I fell into that category, and I felt kind of guilty for it. Putting myself second and the workplace first, or just other people in general, and fulfilling their needs rather than mine, and feeling guilty over when I finally try to prioritize myself. And that is something I'm working hard to overcome. The thing is, when you're in that sort of career where you are in it to win it, you can't really have that work-life balance that everyone is looking for. It becomes kind of hard to do things on the side. Instagram was more than enough for me. I perceived YouTube as extending myself more into the content creation world rather than the lawyer world. I think I was a bit worried about getting judged, and I still am. I mean, I did not feel that good about putting myself out here and failing all the time, speaking my second language instead of my first. It's just cringe all over the place. But the way I see it, I need to get going before I get good, and then I can become this really excellent person when it comes to YouTube down the road. Now I just have to get going and just bear with it. Just the general barrier to entry with YouTube, where you have to master a camera in a different way, with all the software you need to learn. You shoot in horizontal mode instead of vertical mode. All my past travel content is in vertical mode. I know I have to change that, start creating content in horizontal mode instead, or try to do both all at once, which didn't seem very enjoyable to me. I felt like YouTube was gonna take over my entire vacations, and I wasn't really up for it because I felt that I had enough on my plate with Instagram. Although it is a tough barrier to entry, I do feel that it's fun. I mean, it feels fun now. It did not feel fun 20 minutes ago when I started recording this. As I notice myself growing, learning more, and that I feel less embarrassed about sitting in front of the camera for each video that I'm making, I start to feel a lot better about it, and it feels fun. I am up for more of a challenge now. At the end of the day, it pretty much comes down to my general life crisis with turning 30. I perceive time so much differently than I did like 2 or 3 years ago. I feel like I don't have time instead of feeling like I have all the time in the world. And I have all of these things that I want to be and do and have done, preferably yesterday, and I feel nowhere near there yet. And then I started thinking to myself, so do I want to be 35 with a YouTube channel, or do I want to be 35 without a YouTube channel? I think you know the answer to that question. The thing is, to get good at something, you have to suck first. So I'm trying to get over my struggles and actually actually get going so I can get good later. And like I said, do I want to be 35 with or without a YouTube channel? I think I want to be 35 with a YouTube channel. Yeah, that's pretty much the story of why I am moving over to YouTube and why it makes sense for me as a creator. Generally, I just want to be able to provide more value when it comes to travel and food and hidden gems. Honestly, just making your life more enjoyable. How do you as a viewer want to perceive content? Where do you want to find your inspiration? That is also a very important aspect of everything. I think that searchability is a big thing, and that it has to be easy to actually find and make use of the content that other people create. Otherwise, the content itself gets a bit devalued. So I want to maximize the value of it, and I want you as a viewer to get the maximum value out of it as well. So that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed this video and subscribe to see the next one. Bye!